Welcome back, ECHL fans, to another edition of the ECHL Insider. I am your host, Garrett Hunter, excited to recap what was just a crazy week around the league. Last week, we'll start in the South Division, where it was the Florida Everblades and South Carolina Stingrays squaring off 1 versus 2 in the South Division, and boy, did it not disappoint. Saturday night, the Stingrays struck first in the two-game set with a 2-1 overtime win. But the Florida Everblades opened up the offense on Sunday with a 6-3 win over the Stingrays. Just impressive by Florida. You know, they found their groove on Sunday and were able to definitely run with that, putting up 6 goals on a very good, normally defensively structured South Carolina team is pretty impressive from the Everblades. Also, the red-hot Kansas City Mavericks make it 14 straight wins for them. They had the 5-3 win over Tahoe and then the 4-3 OT winner provided on home ice on Saturday night. What a thriller that one was to watch. And this Kansas City team, who's going to stop them now, right? Who's going to be the one to break this streak that they have going? It's impressive, and it's a long streak right now that Kansas City is on. They're on a heater, as a lot of people would say, just red hot, and a really good one right now for the Mavs. And finally, the Fort Wayne Comets answered on the road last week with a good 6-3 win over the Cincinnati Cyclones. Cyclones now find themselves out of a playoff spot in the Central Division, but they'll be looking to get points back this following week. Well, with that, let's get you now to the top 5 games of the week. End of January already. Can't believe I'm saying that. It's gone so fast, but points matter. They matter in October, they matter in April, but teams are more and more now looking at the standings, seeing where they are, seeing what teams they need to jump, seeing what teams they want to get more ahead of to clinch a playoff spot, to get into a playoff spot, and a lot of big matchups. So let's start at the top with number 5 for you. The Tahoe Night Monsters and Bloomington Bison will go at it on Wednesday. Really good game here. Bloomington split a home and home last weekend with the Indy Fuel, and now they look to play a very good Tahoe team. But Tahoe, I haven't seen them beat a really impressive opponent in a few weeks now, right? They played Kansas City close. I think that impressed me. But their last couple of victories have been teams in Wichita and Allen, who have had some rocky ground through about 40 games. So who does Tahoe look like on this road trip? We'll talk about the rest of their road trip later in this episode. But you start out on a Wednesday night against Bloomington. Not going to likely be a packed house on a Wednesday night in Bloomington, but how do you respond? This is a good Bloomington team. Can you beat them? You haven't seen them yet. How do you respond to that? You got to look at the film, got to get ready for the road trip, got to prepare for this one, but should be interested to see how the Night Monsters started out on Wednesday night. Up next at number 4, the Maine Mariners and Adirondack Thunder, 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year, look a lot better this year, and they go at it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all up in Glens Falls. A 3-3 should be interesting. And what I really want to highlight here is the goaltending matchup. For Maine, right, you have Luke Kavlin, who we all probably know really well from the finals last year, pretty much won a cup for the Lions with his incredible goaltending down the stretch. And then on the other hand, you have Jeremy Brodeur for the Adirondack Thunder, and boy, has he been just lights out. Look at his numbers, 2.31 goals against and a .922 save percentage, very similar to Kavlin's. Kavlin's at a .918 save percentage, but a 2.3 goals against. So both of those numbers line up really well for the 2 goaltenders. Should be a very good game, but don't be surprised if at least 1, maybe 2 of these games get into a goaltending duel where it's save on one side of the ice, save on another, and they're kind of squaring off like that in this game between the pipes. So should be a really good series between the Mariners and the Thunder. Up next at number 3 is the Wheeling Nailers and Maine Mariners on Wednesday. Wheeling will make a stop in Portland to play the Mariners before going up to play the Railers the rest of the week. But, this is a Wheeling team that we've followed closely a lot. They look, they've looked good throughout the season. They're number 2 in the Eastern Conference, top of the North Division, but they've stumbled recently, losing 3 out of their last 4 games. So I really want to see, is this Wheeling team going to get right on the road this year, on the road this week, I should say, against two good opponents, Mariners on Wednesday and then Railers. Yes, they've struggled, but still can be a sound team at home against the Nailers. So should be a good trip for the Nailers and could be a good opportunity for them to find their groove, find their mojo again after losing 3 out of their last 4 games. And at number 2, the rest of that Tahoe road trip that I referenced earlier, it's the Tahoe Night Monsters and Fort Wayne Comets doing back-to-back Saturday and Sunday from the Coliseum. This should be a really good back-to-back. You look at Tahoe, you look at how they've played. We said that, yes, they haven't beat the best, most impressive teams recently, but they're going to be coming off of travel from Bloomington. This Fort Wayne group looks really good right now. They can score a lot of goals. So should be a good test for both of these teams. Yes, they're not division rivals, but, how do you square off against another opponent in your conference in the other division? Should be really good. And both of these two teams love to score goals. We know that from Fort Wayne. They can light the lamp, and we know that with Tahoe. Guys like Casey Bailey, Sloan Stanek, they can really put the puck in the back of the net. So should be a good series. Could be high scoring as well between the Night Monsters and the Comets. So really looking forward to this battle on Saturday and Sunday. Also at number 1, our top game of the week, the Atlanta Gladiators and the Florida Everblades, a 3-game series from South Florida, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And if you told me that Atlanta was going to be highlighted in the top game spot last season, I would have said you're crazy. But, that's the turnaround that this Gladiators group has had under the leadership of first-year head coach Matt Ginn. He has really just flipped the script this year, flipped the roster, got a lot of great talent, young talent, but great talent. You look at the goalie that they return, right? In Ethan Heider, Jack O'Brien, my word, is he lighting the lamp. He had a 4-point game on Sunday. So just a lot of good talent, young talent on this Atlanta group, but they will definitely be tested. Anyone is when you go for a 3-game series in South Florida. Yes, you got to contend with travel, but you got to contend with the Everblades, right? And how dominant they've been over the last several seasons and how dominant they are right now. They went up to South Carolina. Yes, they lost to Greenville, but they came back their last game, went to overtime against the Stingrays and then beat the Stingrays, put up 6 goals in that game we talked about earlier. So, you're not going to get surprised by the Everblades. I think Atlanta will be ready for this. It's not going to be a surprise when they go into South Florida. Oh my gosh, the place is just rocking. It's super loud in here and we're playing against a really fast team. They're going to know that. They're going to be prepared, but how do you respond to it? It's a smaller venue, holds about 7,000. It's packed from wall to wall in there. Very, very loud. And you're playing against one of the best, if not the best team in the ECHL. So how does Atlanta respond? I think this weekend we're going to learn a lot about this Gladiators group and really how far they've grown under the leadership of Matt Ginn with a 3-game series in South Florida. So should be good. Hope you enjoy that. Also hope you enjoy our fight of the week now coming up. If you enjoyed this episode, please just hit that like button below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel as we continue to grow. Hope that you are enjoying these videos. We would love to hear your feedback in the comments section below. Love reading from our fans. And we will see you next week for more ECHL action.
And Rinaldi to center. Rinaldi to Rask. He is hit hard. Penalty coming up. And the gloves are off. 2 pairs of gloves are off. And we got a couple of fights going on. And Beraldi takes his man down. So Beraldo takes him down. And now on the goal line. That was Tyson Fawcett. Tanner Edwards is there. So the original hit, Adrian Beraldo, and we'll get some penalties out of this one, but immediate timeout.